What it do, U.S. history, folks? I'm gonna go over per request the differences between the liberal and conservative economic viewpoints, as well as kind of some of their critiques over the New Deal itself. So, again, I guess I'll probably just start here. It's probably a good place to start, and then I'll hopefully find. There we go. From Okay. So, big point of comparison here is at the end of the or at the beginning of the New Deal, you have two things happening. You've got our buddy, um, this. You got our buddy Herbert Hoover here, who is really just not feeling getting involved in the Great Depression. He does do some stuff. It's kind of a misnomer that he doesn't do anything, but it's kind of too little, too late. One of the big things that he's known for is the Reconstruction Finance Corporation, and what that did is it gave aid to businesses, banks, state and local governments, but not direct aid to American people, which is something that when Franklin D. Roosevelt comes into office, he is really about we're going to try to do anything and everything we can to get out of the Great Depression. We're going to use the power of the government in order to do this. And we're going to have a new deal for the American people. Now, this is what he said kind of on the campaign trail. So, these programs that come out of it are what are termed as the New Deal. So, the government intervention. And we had those three um, specific categories: relief, recovery, and reform to do those. So I had some examples that kind of show some of the impacts of the New Deal. Um, and then we did the scenarios. Those are good to practice as well. They go with the bingo, but they're good to practice. So, also, if you didn't see this or if I didn't mention this in class, these are some examples of reform programs that are still around today. So, those are ones, if you're thinking, like, which one should I really remember? Well, ones that are still here are ones that are still reforming or affecting the American economy. Um, so, the New Deal also created political division. So again, the big important thing about this is that we're talking here about. Actually, I'm getting pretty good at writing with this thing. The impacts. Okay, so the impacts here are the political division. Well, it causes division, but also you have this group of people that kind of come together and start to support the New Deal programs and the ideas of the government being involved in the economy, and it's called the New Deal Coalition. It's not going to be on the exam, but that's something that happens. But it does create this political division between liberal critics of the New Deal and conservative critics of the New Deal. So, um, liberals in general are going to favor more change in society. That's why they're sometimes called progressive. But the big thing that we care about here is what they see on economic issues. So, liberal economics is generally going to want to see government involvement in economic issues. So, here's some examples of those. How they can do that: higher taxes, more government regulation on businesses. You saw that happen in the New Deal. Eventually, the New Deal, they have some taxes to pay for things, but in general, I put exclamation point here: higher government spending to boost the economy. So this is going to be a very liberal program. However, the major liberals, like this guy right here. Oh wait, I should do this. This guy right here, Huey Long. I don't actually like him. It's just he's interesting. Um, his big thing is it's not enough. So he's saying that the New Deal is not doing enough to help the economy. He wants to have a redistribution of wealth. He wants to have free housing for everybody, free college, social security, which actually is a thing in the New Deal. But he wants it to go further. So the big New Deal critique from the liberal side is it's not going far enough. It's only like I use this analogy. They feel like it's kind of a band-aid on the problem. It's not fixing or redistributing or changing the system. It's just kind of helping for a little while. Okay. Conservatives on the flip side, I hope I don't run out of time. If I run out of time, I apologize. Conservatives on the flip side are going to be more skeptical of change. And again, we're really focused on this right here: disliking government involvement in economic issues. They want what's called, if you want to be an economist, being more laissez faire or hands off. Let do is what it stands for, or what it translates to in French, but keep the government out of business. So any kind of like government spending that's supposed to help the economy, they would generally think is a waste, because individuals and businesses can boost the economy better. We didn't really talk a lot about. It's not really an issue of social freedoms right now. We'll talk about this later, of keeping traditional family values. But their big thing is keep the government out of the economy. So our big one that we looked at was called ALL, the American Liberty League. But a lot of business owners would said that they didn't like